Hello and thanks for joining us. I'm Laurel Hess and this is Comcast Newsmakers. Our topic today is the Oakland County Friend of the Court. Here to discuss it with us is its Citizens Advisory Committee Chairman, Dave Taylor. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Before we talk about the Citizens Advisory Committee, what exactly, for folks who may or may not have had an opportunity to have dealings with a Friend of the Court, what is Friend of the Court? What do they do? What are their duties?
Well, what a lot of people may not know is actually the Friend of the Court is an employee of the Circuit Court, primarily. And when there's a family matter that involves the court system, the Friend of the Court is an arm of the court, and they look into matters of parenting time for the families, into child support enforcement, into matters that involve schooling and anything else that may come up over the course of someone that's raising children.
Not all Friend of the Courts have citizen advisory committees. In fact, they used to all, by mandate, have them.
Absolutely.
But fewer and fewer have them today. Oakland County still does. What exactly is the Citizens Advisory Committee, and what do they do to advise the Friend of the Court?
Well, what we do is we don't necessarily advise the Friend of the Court as much as we provide reporting back to Lansing and to other bodies such as the Appropriations Committee that provides funding through our counties for the Friend of the Court, for example.
So you sort of observe the day-to-day happenings, what's happening in the Friend of the Court, and sort of report back what's being done right, perhaps some issues that you might see?
Well, a lot of what we do is provided by input from the citizens. Through example, there are written grievances that are provided to our committee, and we go through these grievances and we look for specific things such as, has there been gender bias in this particular issue? Has there been an office procedure or a violation according to statute as it pertains to what the Friend of the Court is supposed to be doing by statute or by law?
So when you look at these issues, then do you make recommendations perhaps to, I don't know if you make them directly back to the Friend of the Court or to the folks in Lansing as to how they should be resolved? Well,
that's a good question, because we would like to be able to make these recommendations more readily to the local Friend of the Court, but to be honest with you, the Friend of the Court hasn't shown a lot of interest as of late in the last year and a half. They haven't even attended a meeting. But certainly would invite that opportunity for the Friend of the Court to have better communications with the advisory committee, for sure.
What are, in general, in your experience, Friend of the Courts doing right, and where could they improve? Well,
they're very, very effective at, for example, collection of child support, arrearages and child support in general, and enforcement specifically. But where I see a lot of problems arise with the community is that there are parents who would like a better, closer relationship with their children, and we see some resistance there. And unfortunately, I have to believe that it stems from the fact that they receive more funding from the aspect of collection and enforcement of child support than they do with the relationships between parents and children.
So you'd like to see more of a focus on resolving issues between parents and maintaining relationships with their kids?
Well, let's face it. When there's a breakup in the family and there's been deemed a primary parent and a visitor in the life of the children, that certainly can cause a rift. Within relationships, whether they're divorce or what have you, and to further that, the aspect of the parent-child relationship has been severely damaged, and we see the result of what happens in society when children are brought up in single-parent households, when they don't have the involvement from a mom or a dad, when someone's been cast aside.
All right, well, lots of good work I'm sure you've been doing over the years. Thanks for serving on the committee, and keep up the good work. And let's hope maybe some other folks out there hear this and say, hey, we need to get to a Citizens Advisory Committee for our counties as well. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
Today's Comcast Newsmaker was Dave Taylor, the chairman of the Oakland County Friend of the Court Citizens Advisory Committee.